It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. On Friday, California Senator Alex Padilla held a press conference where first he needed to make it all about himself and remind you that you actually know who he is now because of that dramatic handcuffing video.
Donald Trump deployed thousands of National Guard troops and Marines into Los Angeles, but we refuse to stay silent. They fear.
And now that the Marines have left, people are attacking the federal buildings again.
They fear-mongered and scapegoated hard-working immigrants to detract from their failures in Washington, D.C. But we refuse to stay silent. And just 6 weeks ago, during a press conference
That was six. There's no way that was 6 weeks ago. Maybe it was.
At a federal building here in Los Angeles, I was physically removed, forced to the ground, and handcuffed.
Yes, because you were causing a scene.
But you all, the community of Los Angeles, had my back.
It's the first time the community of Los Angeles knew who you were. But this wasn't just a woe is me press conference. Alex Padilla is introducing new legislation. And look, we could look at this one way, as in this will never pass, so we shouldn't talk about it. But it is something that's on the minds of the people who live here in Southern California. So let's go ahead and hear out what Alex Padilla's idea is to reform our current immigration system.
That's why today I'm announcing legislation.
Legislation? You got some tomato and onions with that?
I'm announcing legislation to update our immigration system for the first time in decades.
Boy, even though he has been in public life for a very, very, very long time, he's not ready for prime time.
So we are united in the belief that if you have lived here for 7 years or more, contributed to the community for years, and you don't have a criminal record, then yes, you deserve a pathway to legalization. It's that simple.
Now, does that mean citizenship? Does that mean permanent residency, green card? He didn't exactly elaborate, but it is time to think about what exactly we want going forward. We've seen the raids. We've seen the deportations in Los Angeles. I guess there's a few ways we can go with this. Do you want to see that continue in LA until every single person that's in this county illegally leaves the country and comes back the right way? That's one option. Or do you think there might be something to, okay, let's get rid of the criminals and let's make a deal that sanctuary policies don't keep anybody safe, which they're not going to do. But the people that are here and that have been working and they're not causing trouble, maybe there should be some path to, I don't know if it's permanent residency, citizenship, what have you. That's what's on the table. That's what Alex Padilla is putting forward. So my question to you at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222 is this. It's estimated there are maybe as many as 1 million workers in Los Angeles County living in this country illegally without papers. What do you think should happen to them? Should they all be deported, or should there be some kind of pathway? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Whatever your honest-to-God opinion is on this, let's have a constructive conversation about it without demonizing either side. Let's hear out what Padilla has to say, because the undertaking of getting rid of all those people would be quite a lot. We've seen what they've done so far. Are we ready for that for months and months and months and all the protesting and the riots? Or is there some kind of agreement that could be made here, including letting ICE back into the jails? That'd be a nice start. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. What would you want to see happen to the nearly 1 million people in this county living in the country illegally? Deportation, pathway, something in between. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. While we're getting those calls on the board, let's listen to Alex Padilla explain his bill on KCAL.
California Senator Alex Padilla wants to help expand the way immigrants obtain legalization in the United States.
Now, he's joining us now for a deeper insight into what he's proposing. Senator Padilla, thank you for joining us this morning.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
And of course, this is happening in light of all we've seen with the immigration rates here and all across the country. So explain this legislation and what inspired you to update what's known as the registry bill, because this is going to help more people who've been in the country, contributing to the country, become citizens possibly.
Right. So I think the beauty of this proposal is that we're not creating a new bureaucracy. There's no new agency or program. The registry.
We're just changing the amnesty from 1986 to the amnesty of every 7 years, apparently.
The registry mechanism has been in federal law for 100 years. It allows people who may be undocumented in the United States, but who have lived here 7 years or more, have been paying their taxes, don't have that, violent criminal history, to be able to take a first step.
Paying their taxes is always an interesting one, because we're not talking about people that have W-2 paychecks, so they're not paying payroll taxes or income taxes. But I guess just living here, you are paying sales taxes.
Have been paying their taxes, don't have that, violent criminal history, to be able to take a first step.
And by the way, the first part of this that's disingenuous for Alex Padilla is saying, oh, we want the criminals out too. Because if that was true, we wouldn't have California's sanctuary state law. We wouldn't have sanctuary city policies in Los Angeles, Santa Ana, or San Francisco.
To be able to take a first step in applying towards legal status and then residency and maybe some point in the future citizenship. But first things first, a legal status to be able to come out of the shadows. When the law.
Do we have to use those terms? Come on. I'm trying to take you seriously here, Padilla.
When the law was first put on the...
That's my first mistake.
When the law was first put on the books, of course, they had a deadline. And over the course of the last century, that deadline has been updated a few times. The last time being under Republican President Ronald Reagan, who talked about this being a basic issue of fairness. So all this bill suggests is let's bring it up to modern times and allow people in the United States currently who have been here for 7 years or more.
And I guess if you haven't been here for 7 years, you're in the shadows until your 7-year part, or you're saying that you want everyone who's been in here less than 7 years to be kicked out of the country? What's the other part of that conversation? I'd just love to know. But Alex Padilla is only going to go on friendly media to talk about this. And look, I know this has zero chance in hell of passing, but it's still worth discussing.
And again, have been playing by the rules to be able to come out of the shadows and take steps towards legalization. And the timing is not a coincidence. We've seen the extreme overreach of the current administration in how they're enforcing the laws, how they're detaining so many people and deporting people even without due process. There has to be a better way, and I think this is part of it.
So Alex Padilla's idea, a legislation that he wants to put forward, is if you've been in the country illegally for 7 years and you haven't committed any crimes, there should be a pathway to residency, eventual citizenship for you. What say you at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222? Do you want to see some kind of pathway? I don't know whether it's paying fines, paying taxes, civil service, what have you. Do you want to see every single person that's in this county illegally, which might be as many as 1 million, deported? What do you want to see happen? What would you like to see happen with the immigration situation in a place like Los Angeles County? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. All opinions are welcome here. We're all here to learn. Let's go to Salvador in Norwalk. Salvador, hello.
Hey, how's it going? All is well over here. Yeah, I wanted to share that myself, my father received amnesty through Reagan back in 87, and as a result, I wasn't born in this country, so I also received my residency and eventually citizenship. All hardworking folks, graduated from UC Berkeley, doing well, contributing well to society. These are good people, so let's not forget that. The profile of folks that have been here are great people, and I want to make sure everyone remembers that these people are great contributors to our society and therefore deserve a path towards naturalization.
What do you think that pathway should look like? You know, obviously, yes, people contribute to society, but there is the truth of line cutting and people who wait years and years and years to get in this country. So what should that pathway be?
Yeah, that situation can be figured out, right? I'm not, that's not my area of expertise, but I do want to say that the amount of millions of people that got this pathway, so in the Reagan administration, it was the Republican administration, they thought I was figured out. And at the end of the day, the fact is that a lot of millions of people are here, similar to during that time. And when you actually look at the study and the research of the states that received amnesty.
Salvador, we're going to have to let you go because your phone quality, we can barely understand you. But if you can call back with a better connection, we'll obviously take you. Let's go to Andy in Long Beach. Andy, hello.
Yes, hello. How's it going?
Doing great.
The 7-year pathway is ridiculous. I believe what I'd like to see is the continuation of what's going on with the deportations, so long as there's paperwork there to say so-and-so should be deported. At the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing the reintroduction of the Bracero program, which before 1966 was worked well, where workers from Mexico would come, work whatever work they had, and then go back, and they were identified, they were, perhaps vetted. That went away with the Immigration Act of 1966 to the detriment of Los Angeles, I believe.
So you'd like to see some kind of migrant worker program for farm workers, what have you, where they don't have legal residency here, but they have the right to work here, but they're not permanent residents here. That's something worth approaching because right now that's not what we're doing.
I know a lot of Americans in Mexico have to come back to the U.S. every 6 months or so. They have to cross the border, and whether it's ceremonial or not, it at least records the fact that they're here, that they're there, that they're not committing crimes in Mexico, and they're welcome back for the next 6 months. Seems like a fair thing to do. Now, for 1 million people, sure, that seems daunting, but it's way better than the program or lack of a Bracero program.
Well, I think what we're doing right now obviously isn't working, and it's got the temperature in the room raised to the nth degree where we need to find some kind of consensus, and that seems kind of common sense to me. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Look, Alex Padilla is putting forth this legislation, so we're going to talk about it. He thinks that in response to all of the ICE raids and threats of mass deportation, we should have an amnesty for anyone in this country who's been here for at least 7 years and is not committing crimes. What say you? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Teresa in Canyon Country. Teresa, hello.
Yes, hello. I believe that we need to continue. There have been 1 million self-deportations. I believe that all illegals need to be deported no matter what. And an institution of the Bracero program sounds great, but there needs to be oversight. There can't be any use. With the Bracero program, I believe that the employers had to have housing and medical care for them. We need to make sure that's instituted. But no, there can be no support no Medicare, no Medicaid, no nothing. They should be not be receiving any services, and no birthright citizenship. This thing that he wants to put into place is again rewarding. This is the bane of the Reagan administration, the amnesty program, and it's just rewarding bad behavior. We're just rewarding that. Why do you think we see all the crime downtown? We reward the bad behavior, right? So we need to end this. We need to be firm about our stance, and then we can start looking at changes and changing our actual immigration program, and doing the Bracero program sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Teresa. Appreciate it. There's got to be something here. But yeah, the fact that we have, let's say we go through with this and we've got this 7-year cutoff, well, that does incentivize you to make it in here, bide your time, and stay, quote unquote, in the shadows for 7 years, and then you get the amnesty. And we certainly, it's not look good for California and Los Angeles, the amount of public support and public services we give to people who are obviously impoverished, but impoverished in this country illegally, when there are plenty of people impoverished in the country that in this state that could use that help as well. Let's go to Eli in Cyprus. Eli, hello.
Hey, I'm so glad that you allow me to talk a little bit here. The Bracero program, I just second that motion. It works. It worked before. It helps both sides, when the people they don't have to go through the desert and die, either from the heat or the cold. And it benefits both sides. I don't see why we're not looking into that no further. Now, as far as what you said earlier, right, that, these people don't contribute, I just kind of went and did a little digging. And from what I can see, in 2022, there was a $96.7 billion contribution from illegals into the federal and state tax across the whole entire states. And also in Social Security, they contributed $25.7 billion. Now, we're talking about illegals with fake documentation for the sake of being employed.
Oh, that's how they're doing it. Okay, I was confused as to if you can't get a W-2, how are you paying income taxes? But I forgot about the fake Social Security numbers.
And they've been contributing for decades, and they'll never be able to get that money back when they get old. So that's inhumane. What this little lady said right now, a little while ago, said, let them not have Medicaid. Well, if you get a Bracero program where the poor guy is working on top of a roof, for example, seasonal, right? And the guy is making someone into a rich man, right? And he falls off the roof. Come on, we're in America. We can easily afford to send the poor guy to the hospital and repair his broken leg. I mean, we have to stop demonizing. We're Americans. We love fairness and justice, and we need to dig into our hearts and see what we can do that plays fair for both sides. That's my point.
Well, what would you specifically like to see happen then?
I would love, like I said, for people to get serious about, what's going on, to stop demonizing. If I get caught, for example, washing dishes, I shouldn't have to be put into a place where I'm going to be tortured like, what do you call it, alligator, or whatever they call it.
I don't even want to get into that. That's ratcheting up the temperature to the nth degree, but that's Florida.
Yeah, but that's realistically speaking is happening to people that if they get caught washing dishes, is it justifiable for me to go say, oh, we're going to punish you and we're going to go to a prison, we're going to teach you a lesson? He was washing dishes, for the love of Jesus. He's serving you at Denny's, some waitress are serving you with a big old smile. She's cleaning floors and washing dishes and, making pancakes with a smile. We need to treat those people humanely. So the Bracero.
What do you think we do though with the people who are in the country illegally that have committed crimes, the ones that we're protecting by not allowing ICE into the jails? What do we do with them?
common sense, buddy. Like you said many times, if you are dealing drugs, by all means, we're gonna teach you a lesson. We're gonna send you to Alligator Alley, whatever they call it. But what are the percentage, realistically speaking, what are the percentage of those people? I say it's a lot less than what is conveyed on TV, portrayed on TV. So
I think both sides need to be honest about both of those populations, and then we can have a much more constructive conversation like we're having right now. Thanks so much for the call, Eli. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. No judgments here, no demonizing, but Senator Alex Padilla wants to put forth a new amnesty. If you've been in the country illegally for 7 years or more, you can apply for some pathway to legalization, documentation, citizenship. Not really sure how the details work on that, but what do you think? Do you want to see some kind of deal here? Do you want to see the deportations continue and every person in this state illegally deported? What do you want to see happen? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Vince writes in at randykabc@gmail.com. How do you document the 7 years? They're undocumented. Look, a lot of people are calling in. They want to talk about this. Alex Padilla's idea to have an amnesty for anyone who's been in the country illegally for over 7 years. No judgment here. No demonizing. Let's have a civil conversation. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're just going to get right into this because the phone lines are jammed. People want to talk about this. California Senator Alex Padilla has introduced legislation in Congress that, if passed, would allow an amnesty for anybody in the country illegally for 7 years or longer, provided they haven't committed crimes. We don't know what the pathway would look like. What do you think about this? Let's get right to the phones. Let's start with, by the way, thanks for being on hold, everyone. We're going to try to get to everybody this hour. Let's go to Maria in Orange. Maria, hello.
Hi, Randy.
Hi.
I kind of agree. My parents were actually benefactors of Reagan's amnesty, so I do agree with sort of the bill, but I think it has to be way stricter. It should be 10 years. It should be a hefty fine. And then there needs to be more border control because, you can't just let everybody in, sadly,
Well, that's
Especially
the thing that
many
happened in
people.
1986. There was the amnesty
Exactly.
deal in exchange for border security, and the border security didn't
Right.
happen.
Right. Yes, I know that, and that's not right. And also, if you commit a crime, then no, that should be. I don't understand. That's why I don't understand a lot about my Democrat friends. The people that are most victimized by criminal, illegal aliens are good people that are working hard and that are not. That are also legal aliens, but they're the ones that are most victimized. I don't understand why if people want to protect people that are committing crimes. It just blows my mind.
I think if there's going to be any deal to be had here, I think the sanctuary policies have got to go because that's exactly who those policies are protecting.
And I think most people that are hardworking and they're just trying to, make a better life for their family, because it's not, people say, well, just come the right way. Sometimes there is no right way. If you're starving and you're trying to make a better life for your family, you can't afford. They won't give you a visa if you can't show you have a house, you have, income. And these people don't. A lot of these people do not. They're just trying to make a better life for their family. That being said, you can't let everybody in, so I understand that as well. But no sanctuary policy. If you commit a crime, it should be gone. So that's what
There you go. Thanks so much for the call, Maria. Appreciate it. We got one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go to Dan in San Clemente. Dan, hello.
Hi, Randy. How's it going?
Doing great.
Thanks for taking my call. I think we should continue to do what we're doing. I think we should deport everybody that is here legally. You cannot reward bad behavior, people that broke the law. You came here illegally. You knew you were breaking the law. And it's disrespectful to the people that are trying to do it the right way, that are waiting in line to get into this country legally.
You know,
Gives me the false-
that's the most difficult argument for the people that are pro amnesty they're going to have to deal with is the people who went the right way, who did it legally. How do they feel about all this? And usually they're the ones that are really against illegal immigration. Now, should we be expanding our legal immigration system? I think so, especially with the labor shortages that we're seeing. And I think that's a conversation worth having. But I do see your point there. Thanks so much for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. Let's go to Patty in Pico. Patty, hello.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you, Randy.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, okay. I am against this thing that he's bringing up. You know what? They're saying that these people are here for 7 years illegally, and we should give them the right to stay. No, they're They're criminals. They broke the law. How can we give them amnesty? I'm against that. No.
So you think every person here, regardless of what they're doing, what their job is, if they came to this country without papers, they got to go?
They got to go. They got to go. Now, I don't understand. We're not demonizing. I'm not saying that these people are bad, right? But because they broke the law, they're criminals. They broke the federal law. I don't really think that people understand that. These people came in illegally. They paid somebody to come into this country illegally, and now because they've been hidden all these years, we want to make them right? No, I disagree with that. They need to be deported. They need to come back legally the way that everybody else is expected to come into this country.
Well, there you go, Patty. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Robert in Westchester. Robert, hello.
Hey, Randy. I thought that was going to be Irish Patty, but I still agree with her. I think we need to dispel this notion that they're not criminals. The first act they do is to break into the country. So the other issue is that people have paid thousands of dollars in legal fees. I have a friend that spent thousands of dollars to do it the right way for his wife. So it boils down to a matter of fairness, and America is all about fairness.
Well, at least we try to be. Thanks so much for the call, Robert. Appreciate it. Let's go to Frank in Orange County. Frank, hello.
Hey, Randy. Great as usual. Just a couple observations. I think everyone should get in line behind all the people that are waiting to do it legally. I don't have a problem with people wanting to come here and work. I respect the hard work. I respect them wanting to better their lives, but we can't let them jump in line ahead of anybody else that's trying to do it legally. And also, another thing that I'd like to see is they need to limit the number of people that they allow to get amnesty every year. And, you know, if it's 500,000, 1 million, whatever, the other people, if they really want to come here and they really want to work and they really want to be a part of the United States of America, then they're going to just have to be patient, and they're going to have to go back to their home countries, and they're going to have to do it the right way, and they're going to have to wait like everyone else. That's
well, there you go,
the bottom line for me.
That's your thoughts right there. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Nancy in Ventura. Nancy, hello.
Hi.
Howdy.
Can you hear me? Oh, hi.
You're on
I
the
wanted
air.
to say that I worked and helped people to get their to do their papers in 86 or 84. And my aunt also worked for the Bracero program in Arizona. So my stance is that you have to do it legally, because everybody I know knows a Latin person that's illegal. But it's not a reason that they can jump in front of everybody else. And I believe that the politicians should not have a say in coming up with new legislation. All this should be decided by the federal government, period. Because you get everybody excited, and then you get this mob mentality that, oh, I'm here, I deserve it. No,
people have waited their entire lives, as the other viewers have expressed, and they've paid a lot of money, as I too know people that did come in the right way. So I think that you should continue. You should stop all immigration into the country at the present. You should process the people that are waiting for the citizenship. And then if you want to have the people go back to their home countries, because every country almost has open borders now, and you wait there and you get a number and you apply to do it that way, because you can't overwhelm. We were overwhelmed in LA. I don't know how many hospitals I have seen closed because they're bankrupt. So it has to be a process that controls how many people come in and how much money is there in each city to afford these extra people. So yes, do it legally, but anybody else, even people that are I know, close relatives, they're all American citizens. They become citizens, but they have relatives who didn't want to spend the money, who didn't want to learn the language, and they are very upset with them because they say, now, see, we did it. You should have done it too. There's no excuse. So you have, all these people saying that, no, even if they came in, they got their visa and they told family members, hey, I did this, I'll sponsor you, whatever. They didn't want to do that. So now everybody's crying because the government is doing its job. So
well,
it's
and
not
that's
a
the thing. The
matter
government
of being,
didn't do its job for a very, very, very long time and didn't enforce these laws on the books, both Democrat and Republican administrations. And now that they are, people are freaking out. Thanks so much for the call, Nancy. Appreciate it. Hey, if you're on hold, stay on hold. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Luis and Marietta. Luis, hello.
Hey, hello, Randy. How are you?
Doing great.
I just wanted to comment on the Bracero program. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's a good idea. But in the 90s, it was a big scandal. They were contributing to a savings, kind of for their retirement. And when they got old and retired, the funds weren't there. The bank that was administrating everything, I believe, was Wells Fargo. Everyone got cheated, and they never got any retirement, and they contributed for years and years. And so I don't think it's a good idea, or if they do it, it's got to be who's going to administrate it. That's my only thing that I'm questioning.
Oh, yeah, we got to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again. What a nightmare. You work your whole life thinking you're going towards a retirement and it's not there. That's awful. Thank you so much for that information, Luis. Hey, look at this, everyone. 790 KABC welcomes Elden Ring Symphonic Adventure, featuring music from the multi-award-winning video game at the Dolby Theater on October 11th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Nederlander Concerts. Good luck dialing. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We'll try to get to as many calls as we can next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. I try to get to as many calls as I can. If I go to you, you got about 30 seconds to make your point. Linda in Torrance. Linda, hello.
Hi, I just want to say both my parents are immigrants, came here the right way. You need to do it the right way. We already tried the amnesty thing. It didn't work. We've done that. We're done. But everybody coming here, how many viruses like meningitis and things that we've eradicated have come back? You need to be vaccinated, not bringing all of these communicable diseases that we've had. But look at the current immigration crisis in Europe right now with terrorists and Syrian law taking over. No to amnesty, period.
We got to have something orderly, that's for sure. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Steve in Rancho Santa Margarita.
Hi, Randy. Great show. Hey, listen, maybe people don't want to be American citizens. Maybe they're still loyal to their country. So the Bracero program, make the employer pay the medical benefits and allow the workers to go home and visit their families on weekends or vacation.
Oh, there's an idea. Thanks so much for the call. Let's go to Major in Watts. Major, hello.
Hello, Randy. How's it going?
Doing great.
I called once before about the takeovers, but anyway, you got to draw the line, man. Everything is going wild in California, homelessness, immigration. There's just too much stuff going on, and you let everything get out of control, it'll be really bad. So you have to draw the line. You broke the law, first of all. They skip over that part. You broke the law. I love the Latin community. I grew up with the Latin community, but you have to draw the line and do it the right way.
I think you make a strong point. Thanks so much for the call. And when you talk about homelessness or even affordable housing, you could definitely make the argument that there's a whole lot of people who technically shouldn't be here that are taking up some of that affordable housing. Let's go to Rita in LA. Rita, hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah, so I'm going to make two quick points. One is the General Hospital of USC, a big, gigantic state hospital. The wait time in the emergency room, unless you've got a knife in your heart, is 2 days. 48
2 days?
hours because of how many illegals. Yes, I experienced it, and I know that for a fact. And the other thing, how ridiculous of how many lawsuits Americans file against each other because someone trespassed on their property. And
That's very true. We're out of time, but thank you all so much for the call. Sorry we couldn't get to everyone. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.